Good morning, good night, good afternoon, all over the world. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for coming with us. Another session from webinar series, The Magic of the PMO with PMO officers from Barcelona, Spain. Today, we are so happy because we have a great professional. Um, Fortunately, um, finally we have the opportunity to listen. Okay, his name Luis Duran. He is living currently in Canada. If I don't say anything wrong, Luis is living in Toronto. That's correct, Luis.
Well, I live in Montreal, Leonardo.
Montreal.
It's
Okay,
not that far, but yeah.
it's a rainy, city more than Toronto.
Right. I mean, it's a beautiful city. If you ever come here to Montreal, just give me a call and I'll show you around.
Yeah, well, one of my focus for next year is coming back to Canada. Okay, again, I was living there in Toronto.
Right.
Yes, a wonderful city, Montreal. Well, more than 20 years ago, I was there, but yeah, absolutely, it's a wonderful country, a wonderful city that everyone is listening to us right now should go there and visit. Okay, so
Sure.
thank you very much for all our audience. Thank you very much for joining us in the webinar series, The Magic of PMO. Today, we are going to listen to Luis Duran. Yeah, he's a PMO manager, portfolio manager, program manager, IT project manager, cybersecurity professional, but he's going to introduce himself with his next title. What information security is considered optimal to implement in the PMO? This is a very, very difficult topic. So that's why it's so important to join us, to listen, stay in touch. Um, if we know that it's going to be, we are going to have many questions, okay? In the chat, anybody have any question, please leave it by chat. At the end of the session, we are going to ask whatever you want, everyone, to Luis for sharing us. Luis, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for sharing with PM officers. Big welcome. Thank you very much, my friend. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Leonardo, for the introduction, and thank you everyone for attending this webinar. I'm very excited. I'm very happy to be participating with PM officers. And just like Leonardo said, I live in Canada. I live in Montreal. I have been living here for over 10 years now, and it's going to be a pleasure talking to you about information security, cybersecurity. As you can see on the slide, the main topic is what information security is considered optimal to implement in the PMO. So I'm going to talk about different topics so you can adapt any recommendation that I have to your PMO and to your organization. So thank you again for joining, and just I would like to introduce myself. You see on the screen, I'm a project manager, program manager, and PMO manager with over 20 years of experience. I have been working mainly in Canada, the US, and Mexico in different type of projects in information technology, manufacturing, finance. I have worked in projects in Europe as well, in Switzerland, Italy, and in Brazil. So this is the experience that I have acquired in the past 20 years. And I'm gonna be very happy to share with you my experience, my recommendations, and especially I hope that by the end of this webinar, you can implement at least one of the elements that I'm gonna provide in this 30 minutes, 40 minutes that we will be presenting. Thank you once again for joining, and thank you for your attendance. So basically today, what I would like to talk about is what steps do you need to take to start implementing cybersecurity, information security in your PMO? What steps do you need to take to, like Leonardo said, take this difficult topic into your organization or into your PMO office? Like you can tell, or as you can tell, nowadays with the current changes in the technology, with the pandemic that we are living, information security has become not only important but mandatory. You know, any company doing business needs to have a cybersecurity approach, not only to protect their organization, but to protect their assets and to protect any sensitive information that you have. So I'm going to talk about all these steps, and we're going to do an exercise. I'm going to give you a couple of elements that you can start implementing right after the webinar. And if you, like Leonardo also said, have any questions, please feel free to send them via the chat, right? All right, so what I put in the slides, in the slide that you see here, are the main steps that you need to take to start implementing cybersecurity in your PMO. But before we go further, what I would like to mention is, even if you have a plan, even if you say, well, let's start next month implementing cybersecurity or information security, I would like to talk real quick about what's cybersecurity, what's information security, before we, like I said, go deeper in details. So if you think about it, nowadays, everybody's talking about protecting their assets, protecting their information, but what really cybersecurity is the application of all the actions to protect your assets, to protect your information, the awareness developed in an organization to protect all the computers, all the human resources from being attacked via phishing. I will talk about it later, but all these steps that you will put into action to protect sensitive information. Now, information security is a subset of cybersecurity. Like I said, the way I see it and the way I have read it and the way it is, cybersecurity is a broader topic. Cybersecurity covers software security, hardware security, the implementation of a plan to protect, like I said, all the assets in a company. So I just want to make sure that before you go further, you have this information clear, you have this definition in a document, or you have this information in written, so you can start developing your plan and move forward with the deployment of your cybersecurity approach. I put executive engagement as one of the main items that you need to have in your plan to implement cybersecurity in your PMO. So I'm talking about first implementing in PMO, and then if you know, the role of a PMO is to take actions so you can implement it at an organization level. So executive engagement is something that's key for you to implement anything in a company, but especially cybersecurity. If you don't have executive engagement, and I'm going to talk about it in a few moments, what is executive engagement? You don't have much support to follow your plan. If you don't have the CIO, CFO, CEO support, it is going to be very, very difficult. Also, from my experience, I can tell you, it is extremely difficult to have a cybersecurity approach and to protect your company if you don't have the support of upper management. So keep that in mind. Even if you have a very strong plan, if you have a very strong team with cybersecurity knowledge, if you don't have the blessing, if I may say, of your upper management, it is going to be very difficult to make this happen. But I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you some advices so you have this support from them. Another element that's key when you talk about cybersecurity is training. Training is not only purchasing an online training to teach everyone what cybersecurity. It could be just a PMO leader or a project manager doing a webinar or doing a presentation in front of the team members, telling them, you know, cybersecurity is a very important topic nowadays. We need to know and understand what's the risk of not having this type of training, what are the trends in the market of cybersecurity, what's going to be the next challenges in the coming years that we will face. Just by having this discussion with your team members, you will see that you will start seeing some changes in the behavior of your organization. And then, like I said, training would be one of the main elements that you need to implement for your PMO and for your organization. And last but not least, once you have a definition of what cybersecurity is, once your team members are aware what it is, once you have the blessing from your directors, then you can have this training plan and you have developed a plan. I put number 3 and number 4. It really depends on your company, which one is going to be first. You can first train them in cybersecurity and tell them, this is what we need to do. This is, and I know some of you already have some knowledge of cybersecurity, maybe some of you don't, but let's say you can train them in basic terms like what is a phishing scam, what is a ransomware attack, what is a penetration test, what is the risk of clicking in a attached file with a virus. All these type of small steps will help you have this awareness company-wide. And like I said, if your company already has a strong knowledge of cybersecurity, then the next step would be to develop a plan how you can make it stronger. So take into account these 4 items that I have on the slide. Like I said, this is not one size fits all plan, but at least if you put into practice these 4 items, you will see that you can measure progress from 2020 to 2021 or 2022. I will be able to answer how you can measure that progress in a few moments, how you can have evidence that what you're doing is working, and especially how can you show to the executives that you're saving money, that you are saving, that you're protecting your data, and also that you are making your staff aware of what cybersecurity is. Now, let's talk about, once again, what is cybersecurity? So this is the definition of cybersecurity. I'm not going to read it because I don't want to do that, but all the measures that you take to protect your company, all the actions that you take to make your company stronger when it comes to protecting your assets in IT or to protecting the sensitive information, I would define that as cybersecurity.